Yo, what up, what up? Back at it again, another week. I'm here with the boys. I'm your boy Gabe. Somebody next to me is Julian or Jojo. I don't know how Julian does the setup again. Still, I don't know how the internet works. I'm sorry. I'm gonna...
Yo, I feel like, I don't know, it's either Gabe's getting a really good sense of direction or Julian just keeps on moving our spots every week, so we're all just confused. It could be one or the other. I'm not sure, guys. But we're back.
Surprise.
We're back. That's it. That's the message.
Another week. Well, we're gonna preview. This is gonna be like an NFL playoff preview week. I feel like there's not a lot going on in sports. I mean, there is a lot of sports. Hopefully, I get into some more basketball stuff.
Yeah,
we'll get into the MLB offseason, but let's do NFL preview week. I guess for the NFL playoffs. I guess I could pull up the schedule I have here. Let me get up my share screen. I should have had it.
Yeah, we can start off with the first one. We'll just start off with the first one. We got the Seahawks at the Niners.
All right, entire playoff.
Seahawks at Niners.
Seahawks, Niners. All right, so Julian or Gabe, how do you guys want to lead that? We're going into predictions. Are we going into analytics, personal feels?
I mean, let's talk about the seasons in general, I guess, from both teams, and then we can get into like our predictions for the games. I mean, the Seahawks, Cinderella season. I'm sorry, like absolutely expected nothing. I expected them to be the absolute worst teams coming in with Geno Smith. That was their solution to replacing Russell Westbrook. I mean, Russell Wilson. And look at their season. I mean,
you can put the thing down now.
They made their playoffs. Made the playoffs when nobody expected them to. What a hell of a season. I don't know how you guys felt about the Seahawks overall, especially now. Them actually looking pretty good. I mean, this guy, Geno Smith, breaks the single season record for a Seahawks player, breaking Russell Wilson's 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, 11 interceptions on the season.
Listen, man.
4K yards, 30 touchdowns. That's a lot.
Yo, forget the Seahawks. I think this was a Geno's season. This was his revenge tour, right? Russ leaves, he gets paid, he gets his money. Obviously, he was the franchise quarterback there for years. And you know what Geno says? You know what? I'm going to put this team on my back. All right, we're going to do something with what we got, and which he did. First off, you start the season off by beating the Broncos. You set the tone for the year. You beat the Broncos going against Russell Wilson. Then you go ahead. You get your team into the playoffs. And you break the single season record on that team. Like, dude, that's 3 for 3 right there. What else would you expect from Geno Smith as a starting quarterback this late in his career?
No.
I mean, let's be honest. They're going to get smoked. They're going to get smoked.
Listen, that's not to say how bad they are. That's just San Francisco's just good. Listen, the point is to get in. There's a lot of teams that are in Jags who are going to get smoked, who are going to get that work. All right? They got in. That's a successful season. This was to be on a rebuild.
And and obviously this division rivalry. They played week 2. They played San Francisco. The Seahawks lost 27-7. They also played again week 15, lost 21-13. But still, I mean, listen, anything happens.
What do you think of this?
It's a one-game series. Yeah.
I mean, you can say it's a success. I mean, it's better than what you anticipated. Is it worth it? I guess it's like what you can say. Like, is it like what are they going to do next year? I guess is the big thing. But with what they had to be able to pull off what they did, I mean, at one point they were leading the division. That's awesome. It's awesome, but I guess my thing is, it's not like you're really building towards anything either at the same time. It's like amazing season, but like, are you just going to be like stuck in this middle ground for a couple of years? Like, where you barely squeeze in, like what's going to happen, like future wise. But I mean, regardless, Geno Smith somehow had a resurgence in his career. I don't know how that happened, but it happened. And that's honestly kind of wild to think that he broke that single season franchise record for the Seahawks after all those years as Russell Wilson. But when you kind of think about it, Russell never really threw like that. Still doesn't really. And but yeah, at the end of the day, they're about to go into a buzzsaw that is San Francisco. San Francisco already beat him this year, and it's going to happen again. And San Francisco honestly has been playing better offensively too with a third string quarterback. So I mean, it's going to be a bloodbath. There's a reason why they put it at the 4 p.m. first game on a Saturday slot. Like,
I mean, I feel like you're very down on the
Seahawks. It's so negative on this.
They won the season. I think they won the season, man. They finished. Listen, I expected them to go 0-17, and you go 9-8, you make it to a playoff. I think they set the standard. I think they still won the season, even regardless if they lose, which I'm expecting them to lose. But it should be a fun game. It should be a fun watch.
It's I think funny because this is actually, I know we're gonna get into those lower tier teams, man, like that snuck in, but somehow Julian's finding a way to disregard all that and just say they're gonna that first round. Hey, they're lucky to even
lose
there. Like that. Yeah. I feel like you said, I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like if they're lucky to be there. Like I mean.
I kind of like the Jacksonville Jaguars. But as far as the Seahawks season, I mean, I think it's a success. This is good for them. Like I think whether they win or lose, whatever how far they go, I don't think they're gonna go far. But I think you had a successful season. Okay?
Yeah.
This is not like the United States in the World Cup. Okay?
Julian's
this is Morocco. Okay, Morocco.
Yeah. He's kind of discussing like what's next with the team. Like, what was the point of making a playoffs? Like, what are we gonna do now? I don't know. Make the playoffs again next year, like that. I mean,
they set the standard.
Like that's what do you expect?
Yeah,
like they just wanted to tank for Tua, bro. Like what they got in the playoffs. What they had. Like you got Metcalf, you got Lockett, you got great receivers, in which they use obviously because they broke the record. I mean, like I don't know. It's only looking forward. Like they can get pieces in the offseason. Yeah. I'm not really sure what their picks are looking.
You just gonna build around Geno?
Hey, well, if you got a backup next year that you can use with your, star receivers that you have, like, you know what I mean? That just shows great coaching as well. Like, hey, Geno, let's say, isn't the savior, right? The point is, like, if you have a decent quarterback, leading the team with, with the coaching and the play style, the point is they didn't need Russ, right? They're still in the playoffs. And I'm actually giving a lot of credit. And I'm a Broncos fan and I'm a Russell Wilson fan. So I'm actually giving them a lot of credit for what they did this season to get into the playoffs because guess what? Nothing's set. They could pull an upset. It's not likely.
Yeah.
But if the
game still has to be played.
That's
has to be played.
This is what playoffs is. Like the point is they got in, they have a chance like everyone else. So
you want a chance to dance.
Aaron Rodgers isn't in it.
Speaking of chance,
he didn't make it.
I was honestly surprised they even made it as far as they did. To be honest with you.
And let's talk about a little bit about the 49ers. I mean, how do you feel like overall with the 49ers? I feel like they had a resurgence. They start off a little slow in the beginning, and then they make huge moves. Obviously, they're going all in, getting McCaffrey, making big trades, like keeping Garoppolo. Let's talk about the 49ers seasons a little bit to give them some credit because I think they're a top team in the NFC, Julian. I don't know if you have any comments on the 49ers because I think their defense is really good. I think their defense is better than their offense. And for them to, bring a backup like Brock Purdy to come in and still play, it doesn't matter who's in. I mean, they've also had success as well. So, just to get back in, it's seamless editing done by our producer. Let's talk about the 49ers season overall because, I mean, they've been successful as well, right? They've had a great season as well. Speaking of off-season moves or in-season moves, they've been pretty successful as well. And bringing up a backup like Brock Purdy and him still being successful, I mean, Julian, I don't know if you want to talk about the 49ers real quick, the season that they're having, and kind of what do you expect of them to make this run in the playoffs?
Dude, the Niners are killing it. I mean, I believe Debo might be back in time for like later in the playoffs if they make it. I know he won't be back for this game, but I don't know if you, Gabe, correct me if I'm wrong. But nonetheless, it feels like they don't even need him. Like, they're just playing so well. Christian McCaffrey, like, honestly surprised me. He's playing better than I anticipate. Not that his quality of play was the biggest issue. To me, his biggest issue is if he could stay healthy. Because we all know if he can stay on the field, like, he's a difference maker. But then Brock Purdy just stepping up and, like, filling in that role and going above and beyond the Call of Duty. Like, he's playing so much better than this is the best 49er quarterback play that I've seen in a while. And then on top of that, you have a guy like Brandon Ayuk who is showing out in the midfield. And then the defense has just been lights out. Nick Bosa and them boys in the trenches are just playing out of this world. The Niners, to me, are probably the favorites to go to the Super Bowl. I think they can beat the Eagles. They just seem so strong, and they're hot right now, and they're feeling confident. And I don't know, man. Like I said, right now the spread is 9.5 for this Seahawks game at San Francisco. I never picked the over. I never take those large spreads, but I might go with the Niners on that to cover the points because to me, I just feel like they're moving. They're trending upwards. They're getting better.
Yeah, and I felt like, I would share the same sentiments with you as far as the 49ers. I think they should go pretty deep. They are, out of all the of all the bad teams in the NFC, I think they are definitely like one of the clear number ones going forward. I think they should be pretty good. You're pretty set if you're the 49ers. So should be a fun game. That's the 4:30 game, right? The 4:30.
Yeah, it's the first game. Yeah, so the Seahawks and Niners are the first game of the playoffs. And also, too, Kyle Shanahan's got to be like in the running for Coach of the Year. My 3 Coach of the Year like runnings is Kyle Shanahan, Brian Daboll, and Doug Peterson. Those 3 guys have been playing, or Dan Campbell in Detroit, we'll say 4. It's going to be a really like tight race to see who wins that, but they all are very deserving of it. And this Kyle Shanahan is just proving his offensive like mastermind, like he has, because what he's gone through 3 quarterbacks and like one was a top pick, got hurt again. Then you got Jimmy G, who's been pretty much average, and now you have this guy Brock Purdy, who was the Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick in the draft, and he's playing better than all of them. Like, so it's just wild. But, Jojo, who do you got?
Obviously, I'm going to go with the 49ers. They're going to cook them. After everything I said with the Seahawks, I know they're gonna get cooked, but still, you never know. It's crazy picking up McCaffrey midway, through the season. Carolina cleared house, and they were able to acquire him. Any word on Deebo Samuel's health status? You guys know what's up with that?
I said, last I heard, he had a chance to come back later in the playoffs. I'm not sure how set
that
up.
Would obviously make a difference in their playoff run. Not to say they're performing without him, because they are. That'll be insane, right? You throw in a guy like you said, Mr. Irrelevant, with these weapons and their defense, and they actually look unstoppable, which is crazy.
Yes. So he did catch 2 or 3 targets for 20 yards when he came back. So they just said he should be in line for his usual workload and the upcoming playoff schedule, shaking off the rest.
Yeah, it looks like he played last game of the year. I'm just seeing it.
All right, so he made his return.
He did play a little bit.
A few minutes on the field.
Yeah.
Dope.
So it should be good. I mean, ankle injuries are tough, especially with a guy like Deebo Samuel, who they rely on. So, I mean, hopefully we get to see him. I mean, he's obviously going to be hurt. I mean, everybody's hurt. At this point in the season, there's a lot of injuries all over the field.
Here's the thing, though, real quick.
It should be an exciting game.
I do want to say right now, we're going to have to see a different side of Brock Purdy now. This isn't the regular season anymore. Like, this is playoff football, right? Everything changes. Yeah. The pressure is going to shift. The responsibility is going to shift towards your quarterback even more. And is he ready for these situations? That's the question we have to ask.
We'll see. He has a great supporting cast.
We shall see game 1 of
help him in case.
It's the first game.
Always keep them in games.
So let's get to the second game.
And the run game is killing it. So, yeah. I mean, we'll see. So I gave my thing with the spread. I said I'll take the Niners minus 9.5. What do you guys have with that spread?
9.5 is a lot of points. I think it's going to be a lot closer. Give me the under. I mean, the 49ers win, but give me the under on that.
Seahawks plus 9.
Jacksonville to cover.
Seahawks.
I'm sorry, the Seahawks.
Can't wait for that conversation. Seahawks with the spread. Sorry, 49ers. See, now Gabe got me messing up out here now.
Oh, well, okay. So me and JoJo got Niners and 9.5.
I think 9.5 is too many points.
Nah, they're gonna put up points.
It should be closer, but it should be fun.
They're putting up points, man.
I don't know about that Seahawks.
You told me that like 5 weeks ago.
Anyways, let's talk about the other game, game 2 of the week. I guess the playoff week, the wild card week.
Saturday night.
We got West Coast flying all the way to the East Coast. I think they're flying to London. No, I'm just kidding. They're not flying. Oh, they want it so bad though. You imagine if they have this playoff game in London. Anyways, Chargers at Jacksonville. I believe it's the rematch, right? The Jaguars beat early in the season. Was that?
Jaguars beat the Chargers in week 3. Yeah, week 3. And
obviously, Chargers traveling to Jacksonville. They are 2.5 favorites on the road. The Chargers are. I believe. Let's talk about the teams individually, this season overall, and then we can talk about that matchup earlier. Let's talk about the Chargers season, JoJo. I mean, the Chargers. They're also starting kind of rocky, right? They had a lot of injuries early on. Keenan Allen was out. They had guys injured.
Mike Williams out. Yeah. Joey Bosa was out. Joey Bosa went out in that Jaguars game. Rashawn Slater is gone for the season with torn ACL. But they're getting players back.
The only productive player really was Austin Eckler, who he had a really productive season. He had an all right season. I don't know what he finished on the season. It had to be at least 100 yards. Let me pull up these stats.
He had about 900 rushing yards, somewhere around there, but he had 107 receptions, which is insane. A ton of catches and a ton of receiving yards. So I don't know what his total yards were at, but I'm sure it was close to like 1,500, probably.
Yeah, let me pull up a stats here. Austin Eckler, 915 rushing. Let me see. 722 catching and receiving with 107 yards.
Ooh, I was close. I said 1,500 to 1,600.
So 13 rushing touchdowns, 5 passing touchdowns, 5 fumbles. His longest run this season was 23 yards. So
it's a lot of short runs.
Yeah, they
take a lot of hits. Got him up the field.
But yeah, he's been their most productive player. I think the Chargers now. I think they're the scary team that everybody should have been afraid at the beginning of the season. Everybody thought, oh, they're gonna come out hot. Obviously, even with Herbert playing through injury, I think he has an elbow. He's playing through something.
He had a rib. He had a rib problem like week 2, but everything seems to be good with him now. But we did point it at JoJo's. Go JoJo.
No, it's all good. No, so I do want to say, man, Chargers had an up and down season. They were in obviously one of the what was supposed to be one of the toughest divisions this season. We all know the downfall of the Broncos. Raiders had a upside down season. Chiefs, of course, once again ran away with it, in which we didn't think would happen. We thought it would be a little more competitive, but obviously not, including the Chargers, right? But they had legit reasons. They had injuries all season. Herbert made some key mistakes in a few games, late in games, fourth quarter. I know he had a few picks in certain situations. So, but, they never really got that backlash. It's funny with Herbert and the Chargers. And I think we had a discussion a few weeks ago, like, how come when Herbert's in these situations and let's say he throws a pick in the fourth quarter or in the end zone, the red zone, and we're not shitting on the Chargers, right? Because we were kind of like, we felt bad that half the team was injured. So it's a mix of both. So how their season ended. But I do believe full force, with everyone back, the Chargers could definitely make a good run. Not to say anything bad against the Jags, we'll get there. But if everyone's healthy, they have a lot of potential. And I feel like the goal was to get into the postseason, which they did from our division, them and the Chiefs. And, they got the job done. Is that the record they wanted? Probably not. Probably wanted a few more wins under their belt, especially with a star-studded young quarterback. But they worked with what they had, and they got into the playoffs with, a pretty favorable matchup on both sides for this first round. Honestly, it could have been worse for them.
Yeah. I will say that I think Brandon Staley, a lot of people are not very sold on him, but also let's give the Chargers credit. They're making the playoffs for the first time since 2018. Justin Herbert's first time in the playoffs. So they're slowly making step by step. Last year, they came down to the final game of the year against the Raiders, but now this year they're actually in it. But yeah, I mean, we could talk about the matchup. The matchup's going to be tough. Even with their defense having the players that they do really, really struggle on the run, like very much so. And that's something that I'm looking to see Jacksonville do, is go in there and just run the ball to ETN, because I think the Chargers have one of the worst rush defenses in the league. And now, last time when the Jaguars went against the Chargers, James Robinson at the time when he was on the team rushed for like about 120, and then Travis Etienne had about 50 yards. So, I mean, you're talking about almost 170 yards on the ground. That's a lot. And last game, I mean, yes, the Chargers were injured, but there was also players in there. Mike Williams did play that game. Eckler was in that game. They still just got outmanned in that game. But I do think both teams, that's a long time ago, and both teams are almost completely different. Chargers, like I said, are healthier. But then you can also say the Jaguars, they won that game. They looked really good. They had a down stretch. But now you could probably say that they're even better than what they were in those first couple of weeks when they were on that little that run. So it's going to be a really interesting matchup. Obviously, this is going to be the best matchup of the day. That's why they moved it to a night game. One of the best matchups in the league, I think, because also let's real quick talk about the AFC is fucking stacked right now. When you think about the quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence. Lamar looks like he's not going to play. I'm not sure, but if he does, he's in there. I'm not going to mention Tua.
Tua's been ruled out for this week. Also, Lamar Jackson didn't show up to practice. That's just updating today based on today's news. It might change it.
We'll get there. But
very good points, Julian.
But yeah, I mean, you're like, and then we can talk about the Jags. So the Jags just essentially had a playoff game. Week 18 against the Titans, and
sure did.
Electric atmosphere, absolute sold out crowd. This game's going to be the same exact way. And I mean, the atmosphere was unlike anything I've ever seen before. I was reading from people all over who went to the game. They said this is like one of the most electrifying like crowds they've ever been a part of in general, not even just in Jacksonville, because it's a town like, man, if you win, people will show up, and they show up in waves and they go hard. So it's going to be tough. And I think the Jags match up really well against the Chargers. But I am expecting a shootout. But I'm going to give the Jags the edge because I find the defense to be a little bit more opportunistic. The defense over the past few weeks have been coming up with huge scoring plays and huge turnovers that are game changing. I mean, last week we saw it against the Titans. I mean, getting that fumble last second, a lot of Titans fans are salty because they want to say it was a forward pass, but it wasn't. But they took it down to the house and won the game for him. Trevor had a little bit of an off day, but I expect him to clean it up, obviously coming into this game. So I'm expecting a shootout, but I think with the Chargers' inability to actually like stop the run, that's going to help a lot. And with the Jaguars' defense just getting better and better each week and causing turnovers is huge. Because I think if you have a plus -2 turnover differential, I think you have like an 80% chance of winning the game. Something like that. So it's going to come down to me, I think it's going to come down to which defense can step up and make that game-changing moment.
Yeah. And just to back up, they are bottom 5. The Chargers' run defense is like bottom 5. I was trying to look at points and differentials and stuff, but as far as a run game, I think that they will probably have a problem traveling all the way to the East Coast. Obviously, they're catching red eye. You're going towards the sun, so...
And the Jags corners have been playing super well. The only thing that I would be nervous about is Keenan Allen in the slot, because the Jags slot corner, Trey Herndon, is he's not reliable. So if you're playing playoff fantasy, maybe Keenan Allen might be somebody to look at, because he's got a very favorable matchup. So like I said, there's matchups all over the place, and this is going to be, to me, a really exciting game. Like, outside of the fact that I'm a Jaguars fan, even to the neutral fan, I think this is going to be a really exciting.
I mean, I think it's one of these things where the Jags, I think, had a successful season. You finally see a season without that other guy who's on TV now doing college football, Urban Meyer. You finally see, you had a year, get up out of here. You can see actually what what the kid can do. I feel bad actually for Trevor Lawrence for T-Law because he kind of defended Coach for no reason. Like he didn't have to defend Coach. He's like, hey, we're out here.
He had questions that he shouldn't have been asked.
Yeah.
Like
especially as a rookie. Yeah, as a rookie, young guy.
Yeah, it's like, what do you expect him to say? Like, I don't believe in the system. He doesn't know shit. He's fresh into the league.
Yeah,
he's gonna have to put faith in his coach at the time. Like, what the hell is he gonna say? That's hilarious. You guys brought that up.
So, yeah, but shout out Doug Peterson. He probably should win Coach of the Year. I know we kind of talked about it a little bit in the chat. You kind of throw it out there. He probably should win Coach of the Year. I don't know if he will. I mean, I think there's other kind of candidates, but he's probably like top 3, top 5 coach.
I think he should, man. I mean, back-to-back number 1 overall draft picks to then winning the division and making the playoffs. Like that's pretty wild. And then that's another matchup that I think the Jags have an advantage to is the coaching battle. I think Doug Peterson is just a world-class offensive play caller. Even before he came to Jacksonville, even in Philly, like the guy can coach his ass off and he can call plays and he knows how to work the field, man. Like this team can stretch the field. You better cover every inch of green because he's going to utilize it. Like we go side to side, up and down. Like they're going everywhere. Like, and I don't know if the Chargers defense can hold up. And that's what would worry me if I was a Chargers fan.
So on the road, 2.5 favorites. Julian, who do you got? I'm gonna let you go first. Chargers are 2.5 favorites on the road going to Jacksonville. Who you got?
I think the Jags win.
Wow.
Like, I think the home field. No, because also too, like Jags have an extra day of rest. You're going across the country, and the Chargers, for some odd reason, I don't know if you guys saw, played their team in a meaningless game.
Yep, I was gonna say
hurt. Mike Williams got dinged up.
They got smoked.
Who knows if he's
going to
actually be 100% coming in this game? The Bosa, I believe, was it Bosa that got hurt? I think.
No, I know Mike Williams got hurt. I think they did a
Mike
X-ray.
Williams. I know for sure.
They did an X-ray and the X-ray was cleared, so he should be good to go. I don't know
if he's going to be 100 though. He might be clear to play, but
he's been injured all season and to get dinged up right before finals. But yeah, that's the last I heard of Mike Williams. But I don't know. There's another injury. I have to look that up.
It was somebody. I want to say it was Bosa, but I don't know 100%. But all right, change topics. Go.
Oh wait, who we got? 2.5 favorites on the road.
I got the Jags.
You got the Jags to win outright. Jojo, who you got?
Gabe, I'm gonna have to hear your pick first before I make my pick.
Oh wow, here we go. He's gonna hedge his bets. All right, listen, Jaguars should just be happy to be there. Okay, you finally had a successful season. You got a successful quarterback. Everything's looking forward. I think you lick your wounds. You say, you know what? It was a good season. We beat Tennessee when we needed to. We had a playoff game. Y'all are already in the playoffs. I don't know if you guys are 1-0 right now in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Well, everybody's 0-0.
It's
You
a
guys
home
are
game with an extra day rest and that atmosphere, bro.
So I think Jacksonville should be exciting. You guys have something to root for. But I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Chargers, man. I'm not gonna go bet against Herbert. He's gonna finally.
What has Herbert proved?
He's gonna win. He's gonna win a playoff game in Jacksonville. 2.5 points is nothing.
And you ain't taking the Super Bowl winning coach?
No, I'm good. I think everything's in stars for the Chargers.
I'm gonna have to side with Gabe on that one. You already got
your
first playoff win. I hope you enjoyed it. Again,
I don't know, man.
I think it's gonna be a close game, but I think this is Herbert's moment. Who's gonna have the moment? Is this Trevor Lawrence's moment, or is this gonna be Herbert's moment? I think Herbert
will say
waiting for his moment.
I wonder I will say I think whoever performs better this game will hop each other in the ring.
That's what I'm thinking right now.
If Trevor outplays him, you got to put him over it.
I'm kind of torn because I do want the Jags to play well, but for some reason, you guys bite yourself in the foot. I don't know why, but you guys have been playing.
Also, too, 5 straight wins.
Damn, and you're at home, and you beat the Chargers already.
Yeah.
Gabe, I might have to switch over. Sorry, man. Listen,
wow.
Those numbers don't lie. Just call me a bandwagon. Looks like we're driving right back up to Jacksonville, Julian.
Oh man, I wish I wanted to.
Let's talk about the next game.
The bloodbath that is about to happen on Sunday at 1:00. Games Miami Dolphins at the Buffalo Bills. Tua, like Gabe already alluded to, Tua is ruled out. He will not be playing.
We don't have to talk too much about these two teams. For these two teams,
the spread is minus 13.5.
Disrespectful.
It should be hot. It should be bigger than that.
Should be lower. The last time they played in Buffalo, damn game was 13.
Well, last time they played in Buffalo,
it's almost
they had a semi-competent. They had a semi-competent quarterback. I'm not the biggest Tua guy, but like he's better than whoever the fuck is playing. Is it still going to be that Strebler guy? Is Teddy coming back?
I think it's still Skylar Thompson.
Skylar Thompson. I got that completely messed up. I was thinking of the Jets, dude.
All right, listen, Julian, real quick. So what you were saying about the Seahawks and your whole take on them making the playoffs, I feel like you should have had that take with the Dolphins right now.
I feel like the Dolphins. No, but I feel like the Seahawks are in this weird limbo thing. I think the Dolphins should be better. They just had a lot of unfortunate things happen.
And guess what? They made the playoffs, and guess who they're playing against in the first round under their situation? What's going to happen?
The last team you would want to play.
All right, let me talk about my Dolphins.
Beat, actually.
We actually beat because the sun. Gave the game ball to the sun.
That ain't gonna help you today.
Listen, man. I told y'all last week or last time we came on here. Listen, Dolphins should just be happy to be here. Okay, obviously with Tua out, because we win. We win with Tua. Whenever Tua finishes a game, generally the Dolphins win. And obviously he's out again. I think he said he hasn't cleared as of today. We're recording this Wednesday. He hasn't cleared concussion protocols. He probably won't play. I don't expect him to play. I expect him to pack it up and just save it for next year. Dolphins should just be glad that we're here. We have a positive season. Didn't turn out. Listen, we lost games we shouldn't have lost. We won games we shouldn't have won. It's kind of a mixed bag. It's like, there's some things to be hopeful for, but also they're like, man.
Teddy might be playing. I'm looking at this as an hour ago. He had limited practice today.
Well, he broke his finger on a tackle. He threw an interception and tried to tackle a guy and broke his finger. So that's the injury that he's dealing with. I'm sure he'll dress. I don't know if he'll play. That's kind of tough. I don't know.
That's your best hope, man. He needs to at least he's experienced
and was out for weeks. And if Teddy was in, I have faith in Teddy. He's my former quarterback, and he got us some wins, man. He has some experience, like Julian said. That'll be best case scenario to have a chance, because you're gonna have to put up some type of offense. Like, you have two great receivers. Who's gonna get them the ball, man?
And that's the thing too. I like Teddy Bridgewater. He's a Miami kid. It's a great story. He hasn't been that great. He hasn't had a great season. Skylar Thompson had a better preseason. They think that there's going to be some kind of controversy in the beginning of the season, like who's going to be in the number 2.
Controversy for Miami,
because he actually played pretty well in the preseason. But yeah, it's looking all grim, man. I think we should just be glad to be there. Let's get Tyreek.
It's made the Miami Herald.
Let's get out of this game with everybody healthy, everybody intact. Okay.
I will say it's wild that you guys made the playoff. You guys finally make the playoffs after the past 3 years, or after missing it the past 2 years. And this is not the team that you want in there. Like, you guys went 10-6 and didn't make it. You went 9-8 last year.
Yep.
And you would have felt better about that team. And then you finally even have a better team, and you finally get in. But now it's like, oh, now this is the team for it.
Listen, I'm ready to lick my wounds. Okay, was it 13.5 points? What was the point spread? 13.5.
Honestly, I'm gonna take the Dolphins plus 13.
Disrespectful, but you know what? I'll go with the Bills. I'll go with the Bills to go. They're gonna go.
Wow,
over.
Gabe, no faith.
I think it's gonna be ugly, man. It's gonna be like this.
I was surprised they made it. I thought y'all were gonna lose to the Jets. I thought the Steelers were about to get it.
It's gonna be a Georgia TCU game over here,
man. Listen, I 100% agree with that. And the last game, the Bills ran back two kickoffs for a touchdown. not one but two. They're on a mission, and they're gonna make a statement, and they're gonna start with the Dolphins. Unfortunately, moving on.
Yeah, I mean the Bills obviously win, but the spread is kind of a lot for who knows what that weather's going to be, and that's my only thing that's making me lean towards the Dolphins at plus 13. I can see maybe like a, I don't know, a 27-17, 27-14, something like that.
Apparently it's going to be 34 degrees and sunny, 6 mile an hour wind on Sunday. So.
Oh yeah, never mind. Let me get the Bills.
All right, let's talk about the next game. Giants at Vikings. Let's talk about the Giants. I mean, these are two teams. I don't know. I have no clue on either of these teams.
The Vikings should win, but you cannot trust them to win big games. That's the problem with the Vikings.
I think we're on the same page on that, Julian. It's kind of the direction.
I have no idea what
Kirk
the season
Cousins is shaky in important games and primetime games. Like they lose games they shouldn't lose. Like, and
I don't know. Giants
play
man. Like when they're in the playoffs, and we've seen it happen in the past. Like the goal is to just get in for them.
Yeah, it's
like when they get in, like
organization.
We don't know what's gonna happen. Like, they could end up at a freaking Super Bowl again. For all you know.
You want to talk about another team that we would have never thought been here is the Giants themselves. Brian Daboll did one hell of a job to take that roster, which is not a very talented roster at all.
He's probably win Coach of the Year as well. Or he'll be up there for Coach of the Year.
Yeah, they not a very talented roster to take him with to make Daniel Jones an actual competent quarterback is extremely impressive.
I mean, but for a lot of weeks they had the Saquon. It was a Saquon show for a lot of weeks. It was just like Saquon, here's the ball, do something. So I mean, their season. I think they've also like. I know nothing about like either of these teams. Like I can't rely on either of them. I can't tell you how good they are, how bad they are. They should be better than what they are, or at least the
Justin Jefferson just had 1,800 receiving yards. Adam Thielen had, he had over 700. I want to say.
Yeah, he was a bust for me. My draft.
It's a solid year. I mean, I think they just really focused on obviously Justin Jefferson, and
Dalvin Cook is still good.
Dalvin Cook's had a down year. Yeah, I had him on fantasy, and he was very lackluster. I mean, I can't pick against the Vikings. I mean, they're at home. They are just the better team, but I also at the same time wouldn't be surprised if they lose. But I got to go with the Vikings with that -3. Vikings should win this. They just got too much firepower, and I believe they already beat the Giants this year. Let me double check.
Well, yeah, man.
I'm gonna go ahead with the Vikings as well. I'm calling the upset. It's gonna be a Giants.
He's going for New York. He's a New York bias. He's a New York bias. I'm surprised. You see, he picked Buffalo, and now he's picking New York.
His hometown.
It's a New York bias, man.
Listen, I don't know. Something big's gonna happen in the fourth quarter, and Giants are gonna figure it out, and they're gonna get the win. That's what it's gonna come down to the fourth quarter.
Man,
it's gonna come down to the last two drives of this game.
So actually, Christmas Eve, the Vikings beat the Giants 27-24.
Look at that!
I remember that being a close game, and also too to keep in mind. So the Vikings are 12-3. A lot of their wins were like extremely close. Like you flip a coin on like a couple of those games, you could be a few of those games. You could
Julian, that game against the Giants, that was a walk-off win. They had the walk-off field goal to seal the deal. That's how close the game was. Like,
yes,
it could have easily went to overtime. So I think this is a pretty good matchup. Since playoffs is about matchups, obviously the Vikings are the better team, but how do they match up against the Giants in particular?
Man, honestly, that spread it's exactly what I would think. Because that's what happened last game, 27-24. It's exactly on the money.
It's right on the line.
3.
The -3. So they got to lose,
So it'd be a wash.
2 points or 6 points. So
I got to go with the Vikings, man. I can't. I got to go with the Vikings. They got too much power.
All right, I'm going the Vikings on paper. Let's talk about the next game. Let's go to Ravens at Bengals. Obviously, an in-division rivalry. Bengals are favorite, 8.5 points at home. 8.5 points. It's a lot of points against the Ravens. And again, we don't know the status. Last I heard, Lamar Jackson did not practice, and I think Huntley was limited in practice as well. their backup. So I don't know what's going on with the Ravens. 8.5 points. Let's talk about the Ravens season overall. Like, this is one of the teams that's also confusing. Like, they came in, obviously a hot team. Everybody expected a lot of them. I think they started off very slow. They give up a lot of points. They score a lot, but they give up a lot as well. I'm very confused about the Ravens season overall. Also, the Bengals. I was heavy on the Bengals early on. I didn't see it. I was like, this guy keeps getting sacked early on in the beginning of the season. But I think they've caught on to the last end of the Bengals season. They've been more persistent, more consistent.
Bro, the Bengals have been hot.
Yep.
The Bengals are scary. They are scary right now. They're looking like the team that we thought they were going to be, and they're everything and more. The defense is playing great. The offense is killing it. They're keeping Joe Burrow clean enough. He's been playing. The offensive line's been playing pretty decent, and I don't even care if Lamar Jackson plays or not. The Bengals are winning this game. Now that 8.5 spread, if Lamar was playing, I would say that's going to be a little lower. But all signs point to that he might not be playing. So I'm gonna do the Bengals -8.5. But yeah, man, the Bengals they're hot, man. I think the Bengals beat the Bills and when they move on.
Jojo, what are your thoughts on the Bengals or the Ravens season overall and this game in general?
I mean, just like you said, like the Ravens could put up points, like a lot of points with Lamar, and guess what? They also gave up that many points with their defense. So I didn't know what was going on with that. So, I mean, I wouldn't say it's a failed season. They made the playoffs, right? They got in without Lamar in the last – how many games has he been out already? Like at least 4 or 5? He's missed a good amount.
Ravens did beat the Bengals earlier in the year, 19-17 with Lamar. But I think the Bengals are –
yeah. Clearly, the Bengals are the better team right now. In the last few games, listen, Burrow, your boy Joe Burr, has been a top 3 quarterback, I feel, over the last few games. That would have been a dope matchup to see them play the Bills, because I honestly think he's playing better than Josh Allen at this point right now, and has a lot more to prove. But as far as this playoff matchup, without Lamar, I'm sorry, like I really don't think the Ravens have a shot against this Bengals.
Also,
team.
too, keep in mind, Bengals are 8 straight right now.
Yep.
So time to break the record. I don't know.
And what kind of sucks too is that the final game of the year was against the Ravens, and a lot of people thought that the division was going to come down to that, but with Lamar not coming back, it really affected that. You could have had like back-to-back games. I mean, these teams are essentially playing each other again.
Yeah.
But a lot of people kind of got Bengals were trying to win that game because they still have playoff implications. I think the Ravens are pretty much locked in where they were. But yeah, it's a rematch from last week, so it's kind of
I was going to say I don't like that. I don't like that. These schedulers, they do a lot of division games. That happens with the Dolphins as well. They'll schedule like
that's the point, because
the summer teams always be like the Bills, Jets, and Patriots on the road, like at the end of the season. I'm like, come on, nobody wants to watch this.
Well, the NFL, they want like what happened in Jacksonville last week against Tennessee. They want championship games at the end of the year. They line things up like that on purpose to
for that
because it's exciting. I mean, it's a championship game. They want it to feel like a championship game.
Man, I don't like that turnaround. I don't feel like, we just saw you last week and now we're gonna see. That's like,
I mean, what are the odds? I mean, that's like those are.
I mean, but they're division rivalry. I mean, I guess division rivals. So like maybe schedule it a week before week 17.
I mean, things happen. It's just like, I mean,
there's other teams. Anyway, I don't like that, but whatever.
You just don't want to face the Bills at the end of the year.
I'm gonna go Ravens cover. I think the Ravens lose, but they cover the points. I mean, 8.5 right now. I think that's too much.
Even with Huntley.
I think it'll be a little closer than we think.
I don't know. Ravens defense is suspect, so hasn't been.
I'm going with Ravens before the points, but Bengals win.
Man, I'm taking these massive spreads. I never do that.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's a new age for Julian's feeling bold. 2023. Who's this new Julian?
Bro, the only close games is the Chargers, Jags, and now we're about to Vikings, Giants, and now we're going to talk about this game, which I don't think is going to be close. They're having it close. I don't think it's going to be. Dallas at Tampa. This is going to be a rematch from the first game of the year. Dallas is -2 as road favorites against Tampa. This is a coin toss, man. You don't know what you get out of these two teams.
Like, you really don't. You really don't.
I mean, as far as the season from Tampa, like, Brady should have retired last year. His life is in shambles. I think is this the last we see of Brady? You think Brady's gonna play next year again?
I think he is. If he wins this game, bro,
I don't think. I will say this. I don't think he plays at Tampa.
Wow.
I think he plays, but I don't think he plays at Tampa.
Here we go. You heard it here first.
This is the last year of his contract.
He should go.
He might come to Miami. Who knows?
He might. He might come.
Retire, man. That lawsuit. Then that lawsuit's still lingering. But Tampa, man, such a disappointing season. Somehow Tom Brady, while he hasn't had his best season, I think he still has had a decent, all right season for a quarterback.
He's like top 5 in passing yards. I don't know exactly where he last landed, but I know for a while he was one of the top passers.
And I don't know what's the situation with their wide receivers, because last I heard was Mike Evans hurt. One time I seen a game, I saw Mike Evans. I was like, this guy is gassed. Like, I don't know what's up with him.
They're all healthy. Yeah, they're all healthy. They should be, like I said, Mike Evans has over 1,000 yards receiving. Chris Godwin just got over 1,000 yards receiving. Oh my God, what is the name of that one guy? I can't remember the name. I'm drawing a complete blank. But Julio Jones is he's doing something. He was
a sleeper pickup for the Bucs.
He's gotten a few catches here and there, not game breaking like he used to be. But and then obviously you still got Leonard Fournette in the run game. Tristan Wirfs is still out for the Bucs, so that's going to be a big deal when you consider that you're facing the Cowboys defensive line, who can really get after the quarterback. But like, I don't know are the Cowboys going to cowboy, because like they always have, and Dak Prescott has not been looking good. He's been throwing picks left and right. Yeah. I mean, he threw a pick 6 last week against the Commanders. Like, and they just paid him all that money, man. Like, it's a Romo 2.0, man. I'm telling you, he puts up all these stats in the regular season, but I just don't see it happening. But the Cowboys are the better team at the end of the day. Their run game, if they can get it going, with Zeke and Tony Pollard especially, and CeeDee Lamb having one hell of a year, they should
definitely
they should win this game. They should. And
it's funny. I love the Cowboys. I'm not a Cowboy fan. They should, like, they really should. But are they going to? And it's funny because we're really doubting them. It's insane. You named all these weapons they have, and we're still doubting them.
The thing is, I don't believe.
I believe what's his name, Dalton Schultz, the tight end. He was gone for a good part of the season, but now he's back.
Yeah, he was a bust for me in my draft.
He's back, and he ended the season just under 600 yards. So, I got to go with the Cowboys. I really do. With that mindset, Tampa is just so shaky, but it's another one of those games where it can go either way. But I have to go Cowboys.
Nah, there's nothing for me to believe in Tampa. I'm going to go with the Cowboys. As much as I hate Cowboys and Cowboys fans, I think they go past. Like, I'm not a believer in the NFC.
Also, too, I will say I don't even think that Tom's going to win it for them, and he's going to go out there and play amazing. I can see Dak costing. That's what I would be worried about as a Cowboys fan, is Dak costing you the game.
Well, I'm going Tampa. I am going Tampa. Listen, it's a reset in the playoffs.
Wow.
There is a reset.
I don't blame you.
Dak is going to Dak. Cowboys are going to Cowboys. You have Tom Brady. As long as he's in the league and in playoff contention, he is going to pull through. He is going to. It might not be pretty, but he has all the experience in the world. Like, how can you possibly bet against him in the playoffs at this point? Like, how? And it's the Cowboys who hasn't.
It becomes a point where it's
they haven't proved anything, and we're talking just a 1-game playoff. and somehow the Bucks snuck in. They got in. Like beginning of the season, midway in the season, and up until the last few games, we kept like everyone doubted the Bucks, and they got
that division is god awful. That division is atrocious.
Listen, man, you can't blame the division, even though you're absolutely right. But they got in.
I mean, Jags got it because of a terrible division.
Exactly. So I mean, and look, Jags actually been performing pretty well. So kudos to y'all. But yeah, man, listen, star-studded team, star-studded Cowboys team. I just don't see it in the playoffs. Like I don't feel it. Like I can't. My gut's telling me to go with Tom.
No one. The only one. You know, the only people that feel it are Cowboys fans, because Cowboys fans genuinely believe they're going to the Super Bowl
every year for the last 12 years. Every year
they genuinely believe they're going to the Super Bowl.
And I'm not saying they're gonna perform terribly, but like just like you said, man, I feel like there's gonna be a big mistake on their part that's gonna cost the game.
I'm gonna go with the Cowboys. I'm gonna go with the Cowboys. As much as it disgusts me, it makes me want to vomit.
Same. I'm with Gabe. As much as it disgusts me, I gotta go with the Cowboys. They're just that much better.
I'm gonna lay in bed and then I wake up. I just turn over. I have a little track and I just vomit.
Listen,
you're gonna see like an ESPN notification. You're going to see like a notification from one of your sports apps saying Dak Prescott throws pick 6, Cowboys lose game.
Throw my phone on the ground.
With 5 seconds left in regulation.
Slam this shit on the ground.
Oh, man. We don't talk enough Cowboys in this.
Fuck the Cowboys, man. I don't want to talk about it. I live in Texas.
Yo, listen, when Tom gets that game-winning drive for the touchdown, I'm just going to send in the chat the eyeball emojis. I'm just going to leave that right there for you.
Gabe, if the Cowboys in the Super Bowl, you should get a jersey.
I'll get a – yes, I will. I'll get a – you got
to get a Romo jersey.
A Romo? I got a Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy is God jersey.
All right, you heard it first. The Cowboys in the Super Bowl. Gabe's getting a Romo jersey.
Yeah, okay. We'll see.
Yeah, okay.
Get through Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen first, okay? Talk to me.
Well, wrong conference.
That's what I'm saying. You got to get to the Super Bowl. Get past the AFC. All right. Anyways. All right, I think that's
Gabe doesn't know what division is.
I know what a fucking division is. Okay, fuck the Cowboys. I think that's good. That's just that'll do it for this week, all right? We're just doing the NFL preview for this week. Hopefully we'll come back next week.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get more in basketball, man. More basketball, more NHL stuff. I'm kind of slowly following the Panthers, trying to do some other stuff, but we'll have it here. If there's anything else going on in sports, UFC, MLB, we haven't talked about MLB free agency. We have all summer to talk about it. We have all spring. Let's say all summer. But yeah, Real Fast Podcast. That's it for this episode. The NFL preview week, NFL playoff preview week. We'll be here next week. Julian.
Wild Card Weekend.
What can they find the podcast?
You can find our podcast anywhere you get podcasts. If you want to listen to it, you can find it on any audio platform, Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts, all those places, as well as YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Follow us on all the platforms. But yeah, guys.
Watch out for that eyeball emoji. JoJo's gonna drop an eyeball emoji on our Instagram. So you see that, you know what it is.
Listen,
you know what that means.
Gabe, for one last time for the Dolphins season before we end this episode, just give us one last fins up. One last fins up for this season.
Could you imagine if they? It's like a Free Willy. Like it's a curve. It's a curve fin. It's a curve fin. Anyways, guys, catch you guys in the next one.
Peace.